and watch. Ready yet? Get set. It's all that.
From 1898 to 1934, the United States would engage in a series of conflicts throughout the Caribbean. These conflicts would be both the start and the end of America's age of imperialism and expansion. Most of the conflicts during the Banana Wars were interventions meant to protect American companies and interests, as well as putting down rebellions and civil wars after request from the governments of these places, and not through force in order to expand our foreign influence. Today we will be exploring 3 of the main conflicts and how they would shape these countries for the next few years after these conflicts would end. These conflicts would include the border war with Mexico, the occupation of Nicaragua, and the occupation of Haiti. Most of these would be caused by conservative government, by either rebellions against conservative governments, or against either an intervention during a civil war or rebellion.
The first of these wars was actually the Spanish-American War, where the United States hoped Cuba gained its independence from Spain and would annex Puerto Rico. The second real instance of the United States intervening in the lands to its south is during the border war with Mexico. Border raids were conducted by almost every faction of the Mexican Revolution, except by the federal troops. The conflict would leave around 800 Mexican rebels and about 120 American soldiers dead. This, alongside the Tampico affair, would lead to the superior and liberal force of the United States Army to capture the town of Veracruz.
After the army honorably defeated these Mexican bandits, the Marine Corps was sent to Nicaragua in order to subdue a rebel revolt against a conservative Diaz government in 1912. American troops would safeguard American citizens and interest in the country, as well as securing the railway system and recapture the area that was planned to be the construction site of the Nicaraguan Canal. These troops would also work alongside loyal government troops to retake areas that were under the occupation of General Benjamin Zeledon's troops. In 1926, a full civil war erupted between conservative and liberal factions of Nicaragua. American forces would continue the fight until they pulled out of the country following Nicaragua's election of Juan Sacasa in 1932.
In 1915, a revolt against a dictator in Haiti would once again send U.S. troops overseas. The very popular anti-American revolt was seen as jeopardizing U.S. interests in the country. During this time, the United States exercised its right to get governments in debt to it to give up money by giving control of their banks, national treasuries, and government buildings. However, native Haitians did not like the United States' struggle to free them from debt and economic restraint, and rose and rebelled against the government. After the fall of Germany and the First World War, however, the rebels would lose their strongest support and would slowly lessen their resistance until a proper peacetime could be reached.
Such conflicts like these just described were caused by either left-leaning or oppressed peoples rising up against their conservative governments. These governments were aided and influenced heavily by American leaders of the time, such as Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, and Woodrow Wilson, who all wanted to expand American expansion and imperialism south into Central and South America and the Caribbean. The conflicts came to an official end with the implementation of a new foreign policy brought forth by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, such as the 1933 Disengagement Agreement, which took the U.S. out of Haiti, and the Good Neighbor Policy, which would take them out of Nicaragua. In fact, the Good Neighbor Policy would actually reaffirm the Monroe Doctrine and would create a new relationship between America and its southern neighbors in the Caribbean, Central, and South America. In fact, the end of the First World War would also lead for the United States to withdraw from Cuba after the Negro Rebellion and Haiti for a period of time until the war's close.
No one told you life was
swim so free, heaven above. Capitol Hill to work out a...
Soccer bopper, more fun than a pillow fight.
So, in conclusion, we sent American soldiers to the Caribbean on multiple occasions to help protect our interests and those of democracy. I hope that you have enjoyed this feature and now understands the crucial role of the United States played in the Banana Wars, fighting against a dangerous enemy.